Peace and power. What's going on, family? It's your boy Matreya Asek, also known as Shane the Artist, and I would like to welcome you to another episode of the Rebellious Rhymer Podcast. That's right, Black conservatism without the buck dancing. Yo, today is a very special program today, man, because as y'all know, I interview artists, independent artists, up and coming artists, things like that. Artists who's been in the game for a while and who have something to show us and to teach us, things of that nature. So being that I'm an artist myself, I wanted to create a platform not only talking about politics and current events, things like that, sometimes sports, every now and then sports, but I wanted to create a platform for my fellow independent artists, and particularly hip-hop artists. I've been in this hip hop thing for quite some time. I started rhyming in 1988, and I have not stopped since. I have an appreciation for the art form. And speaking of the hip hop art form, we have a special guest today, and she is a independent hip hop artist. She's my fellow Kemet News sister. You know what I'm saying, Hotep. And I'm about to bring her on right now. My peoples in D.C., hold your head, watch your back out there, stay out of trouble. The man is coming down, trying to come down on you at this moment in time. All I can say about that is hold your head and resist if you have to. If you have to, resist. If they coming in and they foul, not doing shit the right way, not doing things the proper way, resist. Yeah, resist if you have to. You know what I'm saying?
Peace.
Hey, yo, peace. Hotep, sis. How you been?
Peace. I was over here trying to get this on my laptop, but that wasn't working, so I guess on the phone it is. What's going on? Peace.
Peace, Hotep. If y'all don't know, this is my fellow Kemet News sister here. We are students under Baba Azraquazi. We do study the Kemetic science, and that's right, and it's a wonderful thing. But without further ado, let me introduce you to the Rebellious Rhymer Podcast family. This is Zizzo Phynix, independent hip hop artist, author, and self-healing
A
coach.
self-love advocate.
A self-love advocate, that's right. Put your hands
Yeah.
together for Zizzo Phynix. That's right. And check it out. So it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I've been checking out some of your work. Nevertheless, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure having you here with
Yeah,
us
thank you
this
for
evening.
having me. Thank you for the invite.
Hey, absolutely, no problem.
You never know who you'll meet out in Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. Me and the wife, we plan on going next year. If things go
Yeah.
the way we want it to go, then we will be out there next
Yeah.
year, and it'll be a beautiful thing. I've been studying those pyramids and those temples and things like that for a minute, and I've always wanted to not only go out visit ancient Kemet, but I also didn't want to do it if I was not being led by Baba Kwesi. So big
I
ups to Baba
understand. Well,
Kwesi.
that's how I started learning. I was, finding his videos and, reading different things and learning Dr. Yosef Ben's information as well. So
Mhm.
when I came across Baba Kwesi, I was like, ooh, I want to do that. And then eventually, I didn't know that there was a tour. And then I found the tour. I was like, years ago. And I was like, yeah, one day I'm going to do this. And then this one day was 2024. That's what happened.
Exactly. Kind of the same thing here. I stumbled upon Baba Kwesi's videos, and then I was like, whoa, like I was blown back by the information, the amount of information that he was presenting. You know,
Facts.
yeah,
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 life
knowledge.
changing info.
Exactly, and we all know knowledge is power, and the brother definitely have that knowledge. So,
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to going back the second time because you missed a lot the first time, so it's like the
yeah,
second time, and you know what to expect too, so you know how to better prepare, So I'm looking forward to it for sure. So that's gonna be dope. But
absolutely.
yeah, like when you meet people, you don't know what they do and everything, and it'll be the last thing somebody thinks about when they look at me to be like, oh, she's a dope ass hip hop artist. Like, no, nobody gonna just look at me and know that, because I didn't blow up, and I guess we'll get into that at some
Right.
point in the live, but yeah, like when you reached out, when you hearing the music, I was like, oh, that's what's up. You found my music, yay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, when I first discovered that you rhyme, I started looking through your photos and stuff. I'm like, oh damn, she kicking it with Dingo D. She what I'm saying? She got, she over here kicking it with Chubb Rock and and
Hmm.
Dana Dane. I'm like, okay, yeah. See, these are the type of artists that I respect and that I grew up listening to.
Hmm.
So I knew right then and there, okay, we are on the same wavelength when it comes to musical taste. I'm a hip hop artist. I've been doing it, since 80, 88, 89. I've been writing. So, I know a hip hop head when I see one.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So
Go for it.
you from Staten Island,
Born and raised.
born and raised in the stat. Okay, so Shaolin.
Born and raised. I'm a actual Staten Island native. I was the only one from. So most of my family's from Brooklyn.
Okay,
So my mom was the only one born out here from her siblings. And then I was. She had me out here. So yeah, I'm a native. I'm a native Staten Islander. Shout out to Wu Tang. Shout out to all the other independent artists out on Staten Island that still doing their dizzle.
right.
So yeah, it's an
That
interesting
that's
experience
that's
I had.
cool. That I think that's really dope. And when I was a teenager, I used to dream about going to Staten Island and getting on the ferries and all this
Mm.
kind of stuff, man. So when I saw that you was from Staten Island, I was like, oh shit, I gotta ask her this. So
Oh, definitely.
I'm
Yeah, go
going,
ahead.
I'm gonna ask you this. Staten Island, you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? You got the Force and D's.
That's yeah.
Uh,
My cousin was Mercury actually that passed away.
oh wow,
Yeah, Big
R.I.P.
Merc was my family. I'm related to half this damn island. Like the North Shore is like everybody's related because you're on an island. So
You're right.
the
So
generations.
it's
This person
small.
marries into this family. This one has kids by this one. But yeah, I know for some of these. I was in I think one or two of their videos. Their
Oh
music
wow.
videos. Yeah,
Which videos? Yeah.
this one came out back in 2012. I can't remember which song it was. This was before Jesse passed and before what's the other one passed away. I always get their names mixed up. Like the short one and the tall one. Like
Okay. Right.
Jesse.
Right.
Yeah, Jesse D passed like maybe 5, 6 years ago, and then I can't remember the other one's name. He passed like 2 years before him, but yeah, it was 2012. They were shooting a video and they had me in it, so I would have to find it
That's
online, but I did
extremely dope.
see, my little cameo in there, I'm like, yeah, I
Staten
opened,
represent.
huh?
I was like, yeah, Staten Island represent.
All day. Yeah, Force and
Hey,
D's.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, that's dope. We have to try to see if we can find that and look that up. And you also have the UMCs, the
Yep,
Wu Tang
UMC's out
Clan,
here.
like you mentioned
Hmm.
earlier. Like so, including the Force and Ds and UMCs and Wu Tang. What you think they had some type of influence over your voice to today, your
Um,
style, hip
well,
hop?
I feel like most of the hip hop influenced me in some way, shape, or form. I won't particularly say those groups, but like Wu Tang, like one thing I noticed about Staten Island, like true Staten Island artists, we rap around the same way in a sense. So like
Mm.
the way Wu-Tang rhymes is more philosophical, more deep, you know. They using all these different vocabulary words, and I'm kind of in the same vein. So I don't know if that's just a Staten Island thing, or if maybe I was influenced listening to their stuff, because I love Wu-Tang's music. You know, I do
Yeah,
grow up hearing them, but I would say my bigger influences were like Queen Latifah, Lauryn Hill, um, Eve, even Left Eye, Bahamadia. You know,
yeah,
like these are the,
extremely
because you
dope.
know I didn't, I was little in the '80s. Like I'm '80s baby. I ain't gonna tell my age, but even though I'm proud of it. But either way, you know I'm an '80s baby, but I didn't really come into hip hop until I want to say the end of junior high, going into like junior high school, like the late '90s is when I really got into hip hop. So that was Jay Z, DMX, Nas, um, Biggie, of course. You know, Tupac,
Mhm.
like all that. Like I was going through the, I want to say my house moment when it was more pop, and then reggae, and then came hip hop. You know, so that was for me. You know, like
Okay.
that's what I was exposed to, because we just listen to the radio. So whatever's popular on the radio is what I'm listening to, and you know, watching Video Music Box. You know, so or MTV when
Yeah,
MTV
definitely.
finally started playing black music. You know, so I had
Yeah,
different
but
influences.
that was some interesting times because before Michael Jackson, MTV would not play black music. Like Michael Jackson, I believe, was the first black artist that they played, and I think the first hip hop that they played was, I believe, Run DMC, because they
Hmm.
were the first group to go platinum. So they kind of didn't have no choice. But before that, when you had artists like Rick James kind of running the scene, they would not let Rick James on their
Nope, they was
program.
playing Vanilla Ice though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, later on down the road, yeah, they was playing Vanilla Ice and all that. You
Oh,
know,
that was funny.
they had to kind of come to terms with the fact that hip hop was here to stay, and you can't ignore it. You know what I'm saying? They
Exactly.
had to come to terms with that. You know.
Well, they come to terms with it, and then once they found a way to make money from it, then they changed it into the it is now. So that's a whole
Yeah.
nother story.
Oh man, yeah, that's we can use another 3 or 4 hours to break that story down of how we came to that alone. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
man.
'Cause
Crazy.
that's just crazy where we are now. That's why I appreciate the type of music that you do, because I am a straight up and down hip hop head. Like I'm talking about it, the most underground you can get. That's
Hmm.
that's where I'm at with mine. You
I
know,
hear you.
what I'm saying. So just straight up hip hop head, up and down. Have been since I was a kid. Stuff like that. But let's talk about you again. Because you done had quite some accomplishments in your tenure
I get
with
I
just
get
with just hip
around.
hop. Yeah.
I get around.
Absolutely. So you work with artists like Chubb Rock.
Hmm. Yeah, Trevor's
That's
a good
what's
friend of
up.
mine. He also did the forward to my book. So, just a quick backstory. So, for me personally, I got into music when I was in like elementary school. I was playing in the band. So, I was playing the saxophone. I was learning how to read music and, playing instruments and the piano. Like, I was trying to get into learning the piano. And then I got into writing poetry, then songs, and then it became rap. So that's why I said that's why by the time I got into hip hop, it was like more like the mid to late '90s. So
Mm,
Chubb, when I met Chubb, it was right after I went through my stage 4 cancer experience. Because when I almost died with that, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go hard at doing this music because I know I could do it. So
absolutely.
when I met him and I told him, you know, that I just went through that, he was like, oh, you need to write a book about that. And I was like, okay, so I'll write a book. I was like, well, you gonna do the forward? And he was like, yeah. So he did the forward. Even when I did the audiobook version of the book, it's called Stage 4, Cancer Survivor Story. And even when I did the audiobook, he did send me his forward in audio. So, you know, when you actually listen to the book, if you listen to it, you will hear Chubb in the beginning. So I made sure to
Wow.
have him on there. So yeah, I performed with him maybe twice. Like I opened up for, I think it was the Foursome D's actually. I opened up a should no, it was Foursome D's. It was Chubb, and I think it was Dinko D was performing that night. I can't remember, but I had opened for them. So you know, he was very familiar with my music. He liked my music.
Wow. That's what's up. You know, big fan of Chuck Rock. Major shout out to the legendary
Yeah, shout
Chuck
out to
Rock.
Chubb,
Exactly, exactly. You also worked with uh, Johnny Juice
DJ
and
Johnny Juice. Yeah, he's out on tour right now with Public Enemy, so that's dope.
oh
Um,
man,
yeah, he's out
wow.
there. They're out traveling all around, you know, the Europe and stuff, doing awesome shows. Like I'm always seeing him posting pictures, so I'm like, yes, that's so dope. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Johnny Juice. I worked with him for a little while. We did do a few records that I never even put out. I have like two songs I think in my phone right now that I never put out that I did with Johnny Juice.
Oh
That he
man,
produced. I
you
have a
got two
couple of things
unreleased
I haven't
tracks.
put out. Huh?
I said you got two unreleased tracks.
I got more than that. I have a record that I did with Rockwaller too. He was like, yo, why didn't you put it out? I was like, I don't know, it sounds corny to me. He was like, bro, that shit is hot. You need to put it out. I'm like, all right, one day I'll put it out. So, you know, I'll
Oh,
put it out
we hope
eventually.
to hear that. No, like
Yeah,
seriously, we
no,
talking about Rockwaller. We definitely hope to hear that. I would take Rockwilder's advice and
well,
definitely
yeah, he was
put
like
that
my
out.
he's on the, you said you like the 42 bar charge track off the
Absolutely.
Cause and
That,
Effect EP. So he recorded that with me. Like I have my own setup, so I record a lot of stuff at home.
okay.
So he was like, he's with me one day. I'm like, yo, I need to lay this down. You want to, you know, press the buttons, you know, for me to record it. He was like, all right, cool. So, and I was like, and I want you to tell me if this is a good take. Should I redo it over? Be producer in a sense. So he was like, bet. So, you know, we recorded it. I did the first take and I was like, and you can hear it at the very end. I was like, was that cool? And he goes, that shit was cool. and
Oh man.
I did one take on that. And that was the one. You know, they used to call me One Take Wendy. So
Yeah, because there ain't nothing like going in the studio and yeah, and knocking it out,
absolutely. Oh, I
rather
love that.
quickly. Yeah,
Love that.
because I make sure that I rehearse, recite the rhyme, make sure I have everything together. You don't want to go into the studio kind of stumbling on your material, and then that takes a
Exactly.
little longer time, and that's more money coming out of
And,
your pocket.
and that's why I
Yeah.
got my own damn setup, because studio time was like, I could, having my own setup allowed me the time and energy to put into my craft, to
Mm,
perfect how I record, how I sound, and I was going to go to school for engineering, so I know how to mix, plus being in the studio and watching the engineers and everything. So, I'm a very technical person. Like I like to be hands on with a lot of stuff. So,
absolutely.
I think I even mixed that track, the Cause and Effect. Yeah, Cause and Effect. I did 42 bar charge. I did. I would love to maybe remix it just to bring my level up a little bit. But
Right.
it sounds fine. Like what I liked about them is that they have that rough type of finish to them. Like they don't sound crispy perfect, but they sound where it sounds a little undergroundish, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
It's
Like
got a little grit to it.
yeah, like they
But
have that
but
little
it's
grit
still
to it.
it's still radio friendly if need be, but it has a
Absolutely.
grit to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You
Then
know,
I,
but it's
then I
different.
have a record with the legendary Karen Wheeler on that EP as well, called Feel So Good.
Mm.
For those that don't know who Karen Wheeler is, she was the lead singer from Soul to Soul. So however do you want me? However do you need me? Yeah, that's Karen Wheeler with her amazing self. I wrote the whole song. It's called Feel So Good, and the producer is Shroom. Shroom is a well-known producer. He's from the Netherlands. he was on DMX's last album. He did Lox's last album. He did Jada Kiss' last album. Like, he was doing his numbers out there. So I don't know what he's up to now, but I know he's doing some great stuff. But that's one of his tracks, and we recorded that in my house. So,
Okay.
but he mixed that
Sometimes
one.
that's
I
what
let
you
him
when
mix
you at
that.
your
I wasn't
house.
mixing that. Huh?
Yeah, when you at the crib and you chilling, you are relaxed. You're in your own setup. You in your
Yeah, I'm
own
in my
studio.
zone. I'm
You
in
can
my
take your
Zizzo.
time. You can get
Facts.
creative. You
Yep.
know, you're more relaxed. It's like it's a whole different vibe when you are
Absolutely.
recording that on your home studio. You know,
Yeah,
so
and Karen, she used to live 5 minutes away from me, so I would go scoop her up and like, yo, come over, we're gonna work on something, you know. So, and she would always say, we're gonna work on something this one day. We're gonna do great things. Yeah, I love to hearing her talk because she has my two favorite accents, British and Jamaican. Like mix, I love those two together. So
mhm. that's
yeah,
that's
so
that
she moved
that's
back to
what's
the
up,
UK
man. You
though.
know, major shouts out. You know, and that's definitely a dope song as well. Um, Absolutely. You performed at the Apollo. What
Three
was that?
times.
I mean, that is an amazing accomplishment. You know, a
I
lot of us
won.
grow up watching the Apollo as kids on TV and stuff like that. You actually stood on the same stage as James Brown.
And
You
Michael
stood on the
Jackson.
same
Yep.
stage as Stevie Wonder. I mean, the legends goes on and on. So please enlighten us on your performance at the legendary Apollo Theater.
So this was a minute ago. This was February 2007. This is like when I really was taking myself seriously. I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing this. So at the time, there was a song out by Mary J. Blige called Take Me As I Am. So I took the song and I took her verses off and I wrote three of my verses and I kind of like remixed the hook a bit. And when my manager at the time heard it, he was like, he was blown away. He was like, yo, this is dope. Oh, you definitely, oh, we're going to do something with this. And I got, I did the audition at Apollo and it was like, all right, you going in. And I was like, okay. So when I went back to perform, so there's showtime at the Apollo, which is what you see on TV. And then there's
Uh-huh.
amateur night. So amateur night, they do every week. And the people that win an amateur night is who gets pushed to perform live on, I mean, to perform on Showtime. So the first time I was on was, well, all the times I did amateur night. If I would have stayed in contact with the people, they would have probably put me on Showtime. But,
Mhm.
things just fell through at the time. So the first time I went, I did the remix, the Mary J. Blige remix. And I had 5 people with me. And if people don't know, based off of looking at it, Apollo looks real big on TV, but it's
Right.
very small in there. Yo, Apollo is small. Like your high school
You never think that.
auditorium is probably bigger than Apollo. Like you go to some high schools and junior high schools, their auditoriums is bigger than Apollo. I'm dead serious. Like it's not as big as you think it is. So,
Oh
um,
wow.
yeah, so I had like just 5 people, a couple family members, and I won that night. And if anybody watches Apollo, rappers do not win on Apollo. I never seen a rapper win on Apollo, And when I won, I was shocked. Like when they said, they put their hand over my head, and at that time, I was going more by the name Phoenix, because I am a Phoenix and my name is Zizzo. People are like, oh, you're like a Phoenix, you just keep rising. I was like, yeah, I kind of like that, so I stuck with it. And when they put their hand over my head, they was like, oh, what do y'all think of Phoenix? And the crowd went insane. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they called me to perform again. And since I was brand new at performing on stage by myself, because, I grew up, like I said, I was playing in the band. So I was used to playing on stages, but not solo. So this was like my first solo in front of a big, huge audience. So when I went back the second time, I'm going to admit, I didn't know how to do sound check. So
Mhm.
when I got to perform, my vocals weren't high enough, so people couldn't really hear me because I did it wrong. so,
Okay.
so I almost got booed off, but I didn't. I made it to the end of the song. Then they called me back. this was when Spider-Man 3 came out. So they called me back to write a song about Spider-Man. And it was like a promotional thing. So they told people they couldn't boo, which was so whack. Because I did the dopest song about Spider-Man, and the guy that beat me because he had 2 rows of people, and they were mad loud when they, did the thing over
Yeah.
again. So after the show, I'm standing outside, and everybody was coming up to me like, "Yo, you had the best song. Yo, we were screaming for you, and that dude was terrible." So that was
You
funny,
know you
but
won
yeah.
that amateur night. You know
I
you won that
touched the
amateur night.
tree times. I touched the tree times. Hey, my
Um,
aunt. I see my aunt. She said, "Hey, Zizzo." Um,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
was
Kemet
gonna
New
say,
Royal Family. I was with Kemet New Royal Family last night too. That's what's up. Was with Regina and them up. But yeah. So that was my experiences on Apollo, which was so cool, and I would definitely do it again.
yeah, that is dope. Give it up. The definitely the legendary Apollo Theater. A lot of people would love to be on that stage, and that is something that's definitely something that you I'm sure that you will cherish
Hell yeah.
for the rest of your life.
I
So,
still didn't cash the check they gave me. It was $25, so I ain't cashed it. I kept it.
oh man, that's like a memento. Like you probably would put that in
Yeah,
a frame or something.
exactly. Yep.
Um, that is dope. That is dope. That is dope. Give it up for the Apollo Theater.
Yeah, give it
Apollo
up for the
Theater.
legendary Apollo
The
Theater.
legendary Apollo Theater.
Yeah,
Um,
I was there.
I want to talk about you have 2 mixtapes, Diamond from the Rock,
Mm-hmm.
Volume 1
And
and
volume
Volume
two.
2.
Yeah.
They were described as timeless. So, can you kind of give us a synopsis on the theme of the like? What were your themes based on for those mixtapes? Like, what was going through your mind when you made those?
Well, so mixtapes was me taking, current songs and making my own twist on them. So back
Okay.
then it was really for me to just prove myself, to prove that I could take any song and make it dope in my way, so, and
Right.
I was also showing my versatility. So I could get on a hard as hip hop beat. Like at the time, I think a Millie was out. So I did a Millie, a Billy, a bit. Everybody was doing a Millie. So I'm like, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon too. So this is
Okay.
before streaming and before, this is when you had to actually go get you the CD with the instrumentals, because this YouTube wasn't really a thing, at that time. So, yeah, I was just trying to show my versatility. So whether I was doing a love song or a hard ass hip hop beat or beats that I might have made with someone, with another producer. So that was, my first real project that I was like, okay, I think I'm good enough to put this out now. So
Okay.
that was volume 1. And just to keep it going, because I was going out and performing, so I was performing these songs, you know and being at their mixtapes, it's easier for people to digest it, because they're used to the song. So now when they hear your version of it, they'll say if you whack or you dope. And I would always get the "oh, you dope" pass. So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna keep going. So then I did volume 2. There's like I think there was 1 or 2 songs on that was actually original, where one of them, me and the producer made the beat together, because I can make beats too. I haven't done it in a while, but I still can do it. So, yeah, we made that beat together, and then there was a couple other songs where actually that winded up on the first EP. So yeah, after I did the volume from Diamond from the Rock Volume 1 and 2, then I moved on to doing an all original um, records. Like everything on my first EP, which is From the Ashes, all of those are original songs.
Mm,
Where I found a producer. This is just my beat. I own the masters. It's mine. You know, and then I put out the first EP, which was From the Ashes, and then the last one, which is the one you heard, which is Cause and Effect. And Cause and Effect was I made that because I had records that I was sitting on that I need to put out. And there's
Right.
still like maybe about 4 or 5 other records that I haven't put out yet. And people are like, oh, you still doing music? You need to make more music. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I know. But, I got a few other things going on. So
Right.
we'll see.
Artists will produce their art in their own time. You don't rush
Absolutely.
them. You don't, you can only request.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought your last project was dope. When are you coming out with another project? Can you please come out with another project?
I'm
You know.
working on it. I'm working on it. Like I'm getting the ideas in my head of what direction I want to go in. It's funny because I had earlier this year I had hit up Chubb Rock and I was like, "Hey, we should do another song together. We should do a record together." He sent me mad beats and I have not done anything with the beats yet.
Oh
So
man.
he probably like if I hit him up, he'd be like, "Yeah, what happened? What's going on?" So I just have to sit and I picked like maybe 4 of them that I was like, "Yeah, I could do something with that." But it's really getting into the zone. Like I got to get in the zone for that. And lately, I've been, freestyling here and because I love freestyling. So
Mm,
freestyle here and there. I'm listening to beats all the time. So it's just a matter of sitting one day and actually writing something that I'm comfortable, that I'm happy with, and then recording it.
absolutely. Speaking of writing, and speaking of getting in the zone and things like that, we know that hip hop, especially the kind of hip hop that me and you indulge in, which is the lyrical, underground type of hip hop. So, my question to you is, since we know that lyrical prowess is like key to the form of hip hop that we do, uh, can you walk us through the process of how you create a song? I mean, do you get here the first and then write the rhyme to it? Do you write the rhyme first and put it on the beat, or what is your what's the steps that you take, and what is
For
your
me,
process when it comes to writing a song?
so for me, it depends. So let's say I got beats, and I hear something that I listen for the song to tell me what to write. Like whatever the feel is that I get from the song, like I can hear a beat and I'm like, this sounds like I hate you so much right now type of song, or this sounds like a lovey dovey song, or this sounds like, I'm chilling with my peoples and, it's just whatever the vibe that the record gives me, then I'll start, brainstorming. So sometimes the hook will come to me first,
Right,
and I'll write the hook out, and then the hook will be the thing that drives me to write, my verses, and then the bridges, whatever, however I do it. But really, I want to say 90% of the time, I'm listening to a beat, and the beat tells me what to do. The other 10% is, yo, I have this idea, and I need to find a beat to fit it.
right,
Where I'm like, ooh, this would be a dope verse. Oh, I gotta find a song like this. And, there's different ways of finding beats. I think SoundClick is one of them, but you'll be on that thing all day trying to find a beat. And that's why I used to just get annoyed and I was like, I'm gonna just make my own beats. So yeah, I might lay something down, but yeah, it would be find something that fits or have a beats that I like and then write something that fits it. Like my record, Good Music, that is my baby. That's on the first EP from the Ashes. I don't know if you listen to Good Music. So
yeah.
one day I woke up.
Actually posted it in the story,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Good
with the
Music is
with
my
along with the
baby.
flyer.
I love that record. So I woke up one morning and I just felt like writing a song. I just was extra creative. And I had that beat in my laptop and I was like, first thing that came to mind was a melody, you know. I was like, give me that. And I was like, ooh. So then I wrote the hook. Then I wrote the verses. Then I recorded it and I mixed it all in 8 hours. And it felt like a masterpiece. Like I felt like I was like, a composer and I'm sitting there, as I'm doing all the mixing to make everything sound right, with the stacking and everything. So that's my baby. I love Good Music. That's like one of my favorite records that I did because that was my baby.
Oh wow, that's dope. And I definitely listened to both of the albums on your website. Do you have merch and things like that on your website, or what?
You know what? I need to actually put like some merch, like T-shirts or something up there. I haven't done that. The other, if you want to call it merch, would be my books, but my books are more like focused around self-development, which happened later down the line after I had to accept that, oh, I'm never gonna blow up because I don't want to take my clothes off.
Right,
So yeah, when I came to that, uh I guess you could say crossroad. It's either go down this road and take my clothes off, or go down this road and do other things. So
right. So you got
or try to
got to
still push.
supplement, and that's a shame that the industry do us like that. If we're not talking about degeneracy and murder, death, kill, and all the over sexualized stuff. If
By
we're not
design.
talking about any of those things,
It's
then
by design.
it's like we don't get the time of day. But I think things are coming around. I think people are starting to appreciate good classic hip
Yeah,
hop.
because some people are getting tired of it. Like, and just even me, having an opportunity to do this live with you, whoever sees this, they'll go listen to my music and then they'll be like, oh, this is dope. And then they'll tell somebody else about it. And then, it'll create that word of mouth thing. Because back in the day, before there was the streaming and all this stuff, it was word of mouth. It was the
Right,
radio, but it was also word of mouth, and a lot of people there's still a chance that something amazing could happen with my music career.
right,
I leave that open. It's in, higher self. It's in the universe's hands. I let the universe handle that. I didn't expect to even now to even be doing this. Like I haven't really been in the music mode in a little while because I've just been focused on creating my self-love uh, teachings and stuff because
mm,
after getting to that point with music where it wasn't going the way I would had hoped it to, I got into a very dark place and I had to figure out how to get myself out of that dark place. So I had to do a lot of introspection, a lot of self-development, a lot of mindset training. And once I pulled myself out of that dark place, I was like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind sharing this information with people," And I'm I was never into music because I wanted to be a battle rapper. I was never into music because I felt like I needed to challenge people to be the best. You know, if I'm dope, I'm dope. And I'm gonna just put out my dope music and just leave it at that. So, I wasn't out there calling out names to get the attention, saying, "Oh, I can battle so and so." Like some people can freestyle and battle, but cannot write a song. You know,
absolutely,
and I've seen
very
it happen
true.
before. So,
Yeah,
I focus on
usually
writing songs.
people.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Because usually people who are very good at one are not really that good at the other. So usually the people who just be destroying cats on stage, just battle, battle, battle all the times, oftentimes they are not really good at making songs. And
Mm-mm.
vice versa, the people that are really, really good at writing songs and making songs and they write awesome hooks and everything else, uh, their a lot of times their freestyle is not up to par with a lot of those battle rap cats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
it's usually a vice kind of versa, you know, type of thing. It really depends. But usually, if you're good at one, you're not really as good at the other, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just
I
kind of
mean,
how.
I think I'm a little balanced with it. I can freestyle and I can write, but I'm not a freestyle battle rapper.
Right.
I'm a freestyler in the moment, and I'm gonna just say what's on my mind and freestyle like as if I'm talking to you, type of thing. Or if I'm
Hmm.
listening to something and I just feel like freestyle, that's me. Could I ever freestyle a song and lay it down? Possibly. It would. That's one of those. Everything has to be set up, and you got to be in the zone, and then the microphone's already hot, and you're like, yeah, you know, I would just get on and do it now. You know what I mean? That's you can't just like be one place and say, you know, I'm gonna go freestyle this record. Like I have this idea in my head. Eventually, you'll lose something. You'll have to write something down. You know,
Right.
so you know, to sit and freestyle a whole record from beginning to end, you have to already be at the studio. You got to already
Yeah.
be there.
No, I agree with you on that. 100%. You know, and we're kind of a lot alike as far as how you approach the writing and the freestyling and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Zizzo Phynix.
Hmm.
So it's a dope name. I like that name. How did you come up with that name?
So, my real government name is Wendy Zizzo. People
Okay.
did not believe me that my last name is Zizzo. I'm like, all right, now I'll show you my driver's license. Like, I'm part Sicilian. That's where it came from. I got it from my daddy. Like I said, Phoenix was the name that was given to me by someone. They was telling me, you know, being that I'm a Phoenix, I keep rising from stuff like after surviving the stage 4 cancer. Plus, I was surviving a whole bunch of stuff before that, but the stage 4 cancer was like the real meat and potatoes. Like, oh yeah, if you could survive that, you definitely a Phoenix. You know, so I was rocking with just the name Phoenix for a while, and then you know, Pharaoh Monch, his manager, was a good friend of mine, and he was like, you need to be using your name because your name is dope by itself. So I couldn't let go of Phoenix yet, so I was like Zizzo Phoenix, but most people just call me Zizzo anyway.
Mm.
So, you know, I just left it at the Zizzo Phoenix because why not? Why drop the Phoenix? I'm still a Phoenix and my name is Zizzo.
Okay. Okay. Well, we appreciate you breaking that down. I would definitely was curious about that. As far as we have stories and things of how we come up with our names,
Hmm.
things of that nature. So we appreciate you sharing that. We appreciate you sharing that with us.
You're
Um,
welcome.
your top five MCs
My top
of all
five
time. Go.
MCs.
Okay, you know what? See, this is the thing about me. I like to break my top fives down. I like to do top five group, top five solo artists, top five solo
Okay.
female artists, top, I like to kind of
All right. So,
break it
which
down.
top five do you want me to focus on? Because, like you said, there is all these different, you know, top fives that we could pull from. So, top five rappers, top five MCs, top five groups. Which one you want me to
How
focus on?
about this? Top five female MCs.
Oh, damn. Jeez. Top five female MCs that I could think of off the top of my head. Hmm. Lauren Hill.
Okay.
I would put her as. I might have to put her as my number one because lyrically, Lauren is a beast. Um,
L Boogie.
El Boogie definitely. Who else was nice? Did she even blow up? There was a female. Bahamadia was dope. Like
Oh,
even
yeah.
now when I listen to some of her stuff, I'm like, she was ahead of her time. Um, who else was pretty cool? Mm, I like Eve. I definitely like Eve. I can't say where in 543 that I would put her. Uh, damn, who else could I think of? I wasn't really a huge Kim and Foxy because I felt like they were more gangster rap and more in the
Right.
But if I'm gonna go with MCs, then we still have MC. I said MC like Queen Latifah. Uh, I
You
know
got
I'm
one.
missing somebody. Moni Love.
Moni Love. That's your five right there. So
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's your five. So we got Lauren Hill.
Mm,
Uh, we got uh
Left
you said
Side. Eve.
Left Eye,
Yeah.
Eve, Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
and you threw Bahamadia in there.
I did throw Bahamadia in there. She's dope. I like her
Yeah.
her vibe. She had a smooth flow. Her voice went with it.
Yeah,
So,
that extremely dope. She had that album, Collage. Oh man, I still bump that album to this day, with the wordplay and
hmm
See the Hard Way and all that. She was extremely dope. I really like that. She had that neo soul Philly kind of
yes,
vibe
yes,
to
exactly.
her
Yeah, that's
music.
what I said. She had that flow. It's like, okay, like she could be on either side of the fence. Either it's a little hard or still smooth. Like I liked it. She was a smooth. And Moni Love. Actually, I didn't realize somebody told me that I remind them of Moni Love.
Mm.
I was like, I can see it. I can hear
Yeah,
it a bit.
that's dope. And it's always cool to remind somebody of somebody, you know, dope, especially somebody like Moni Love. It gets no better than that. So, what kind of advice would you leave behind for an up and coming MC, up and coming female MC or up and coming MC period, that who wants to kind of make a name for themselves on the underground scene? What kind of advice would you have for up and coming independent artists?
Stay true to who you are. Like, don't change your flow or your content because somebody's like, oh, you should sound like this person or you should try to sound like that. No, sound like you. Be you. Be authentically who you are. And that was always something that I struggled over with my art because I was always just being myself. And people was like, oh, nah, you should be more like this and you should be more like that. And then when artists would come out that sound like me, they're like, "Oh man, yeah, that is dope. So you was dope." I'm like, "I know I was good. Y'all was over here trying to compare me to something I'm not. So you couldn't see it, or you just wasn't accepting it." But yeah, definitely stay true to yourself. Learn the business part of music. Music is not just about making a song and putting it out there. It is a business, and you have to treat it like a business. You know, um, Especially when it comes to like your masters and publishing and things of that nature, registering it, copywriting. You all these things are important because you can work hard at what you're doing, and then somebody could turn around and steal it, and now
Absolutely.
you don't got your music no more. This has happened to many artists. Like there was an artist that sued Katy Perry because she jacked their sound, the pattern, and the way that they was able to prove it was because their music was out and it was copywritten. You know
Right.
what I mean? So that's how that was able to happen. So definitely make sure your paperwork is in order. um, Read books about the music business. And yeah, just be yourself and get out there and try to, things have changed. A lot of it is all visually on social media now. So trying to get into open mics and stuff. I'm not saying that stuff is still not around, because it is, but you can make yourself pop now just by making videos on TikTok.
Right.
So just stay consistent, don't stop, and keep growing. You know, and
Absolutely.
try to be better. Yeah, just keep building on yourself.
Words to live by. Where could some of the Rebellious Rama podcast family and abroad, where can they find your music and your social media?
ZizzoLife.com. Yeah, just hit up ZizzoLife.com. That's ZIZZOLIFE.com. Once you get there, the first thing that pop up is my books because the books are there too. But if you just scroll up, you'll start seeing the music. Everything is there too. Like I can't have 5 different sites. Like say here, this is for books, and then this one is for music. So here, books and music is on this
And
site right here. Go check that out.
consolidate.
Yeah, everything is available on iTunes, Spotify, all the major streaming platforms. The music is up there. There's some music videos on my YouTube. So like once you go to ZizzoLife.com, that'll bring you to everything else that you need. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you heard it, ZizzoLife.com. Go check out the music. You can check out on Spotify. You can check out on YouTube. You go to all the major streaming sites if you want to download Zizzo Life's profile.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So, any last words that you would like to share with the public?
Mm. Music is a great therapy, but don't be shy to also seek other means of therapy. But continue doing what you love. Don't care what anybody thinks about it. Do it for yourself. Just do what you do for you. And if it's meant for it to go bigger, then it will. If not, you still did it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I'll piggyback off of that statement. Um, Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your farm, and stay consistent with your music. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're 30, 40 years old, 50 years old. You hear some of these people, oh, you shouldn't be rapping if you're 40 years old. Oh, you
Mind your
shouldn't be
business.
rapping if you're 50 years old. Look
I
here.
tell them mind your
You
business.
should be rapping if you're 40 years old. Please rap because I know that you are going to bring some good, decent hip hop and some lyricism and something
Yeah.
that's other than this dumbed down mumble rap that we get today. So if you're over 40, if you're over 30, over 40, please rap. And that's
Yeah,
just
look, you got
word
more
coming
life
from me.
experience
You
too.
know,
You might actually
do it.
make something that's better. Yeah,
Exactly.
great.
You giving up you have something with substance and it's something that'll be more appreciated, I think. But so this has been another episode of the Rebellious Rhymer podcast. I would like to thank our guest, Zizzo Phoenix. Give it up for Zizzo Phoenix,
Thank
everybody.
you so much for having me,
Yeah.
and I hope everyone else enjoyed this as well. Check your girl out, ZizzoLife.com.
Okay, and that's what it is. And again, this has been the Rebellious Rhymer podcast. Black conservatism without the buck dancing. And until next time, remember, the revolution start with you. That's what it was.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Peace and power. Hotep. And
Peace.
we'll catch you later.
Hotel.